Grade 9 students, hello and welcome to a new English lesson. Today we will study a new grammar lesson. So please go to your students' books and open page 99 and let's start. Please have a look at the learning objectives for today before we start the lesson. Dear students, before we go to our lesson, let's start with the following two examples. Number one, Nabil wants to become a pilot. Number two, Rashid can drive a car. Now, what is the difference between the two highlighted verbs? To become and drive. Very good. Now, both of them are in the infinitive form, but the first one includes the to infinitive, so we call it a full infinitive verb. The second one has no addition, so we call it a bare infinitive verb. So, our lesson for today is about infinitive verbs. The first one, the full infinitive, and the second one is the bare infinitive. Now, my dear students, I want you to have a look at the following examples. What do you notice about the highlighted verbs? Excellent. Now, all the verbs here are full infinitive because they start with the infinitive too. After we learned how to form the full infinitive, now let's talk about its use. Now please, let's read the following two examples. Number one, I may go to the mall to buy new clothes. Number two, open your book to do the new homework. Now, in number one, what is the purpose of going to the mall? Yes, to buy new clothes. Number two, what is the purpose of opening your book? Correct, to do the new homework. So the first use of the full infinitive is to express purpose. Let's move now to the second use of the full infinitive. Please have a look at the following two examples. Number one, the tea is too hot to drink. Number two, this shirt is small enough to fit you. Now, look at the words that comes before the full infinitive to drink. We have the word to in the first example, and in the second example, we have the word enough. So the second use of the full infinitive is after to and enough. Now let's try to find out the third use of the full infinitive through the following examples. Number one, I want to visit my relatives next month. Number two, we advise you to stay home these days. Now look at the verbs before the full infinitive. In the first example, we have the verb want, and in the second example, we have the verb advise. These two verbs are followed by full infinitive. So this is the third use of the full infinitive after certain verbs, such as want, manage, plan, arrange, advise, choose, learn, teach, need, try, and etc. Now, through the following examples, we will learn about the fourth use of the full infinitive. Number one, it is difficult to do the experiment alone. Number two, are you afraid to ask me? Now, please have a look at the words just before the highlighted verbs. Number one, we have the word difficult, and number two, we have the word afraid. Now, to what part of speech do these two words belong? Very good. Both of them are adjectives. So we use the full infinitive after certain adjectives. Example, afraid, surprised, free, happy, difficult, sorry, pleased, and etc. This is the last use of the full infinitive now. So please read the examples. Number one, do you know how to get to the metro station? Number two, could you tell me what to write? Now, what do you notice about the two examples? You are right. Both of them are questions. But what kind of questions are they? Are they direct or indirect questions? Excellent answer. Both of them are indirect questions. Now, what do you notice about the words that come before the highlighted verbs? Number one, we have the word how, and number two, we have the word what. So these two words are question words. So this is the last use of the full infinitive when it comes after question words like what, where, how, etc. when they are used in indirect questions. Dear students, let's now summarize what we have just learned. So please go to your students' books, page 99, and complete the following summary about the use of the full infinitive. Number one, to express purpose. Number two, after to and enough. Number three, after certain verbs, like the examples. Number four, after certain adjectives, like the given examples. And number five, after question words, like what, where, and how, when they are used in indirect questions. Now we will move to the second part of the infinitive. So please read the following sentences. Now, what do you notice about the highlighted verbs? You are right. All the verbs here are bare infinitive, which means verbs without any addition. Now, after we learned about how to form the bare infinitive, let's find its use. So let's start with number one. Read the following examples, please. Number one, my father will let me watch a film tonight. Number two, this jacket will make you feel warm. Now, what do you notice about the words that come before the highlighted verbs? In the first example, we have the word let, and in the second example, we have the word make. And these two verbs should be followed by bare infinitive. And this is the first use of the bare infinitive, after let and make. And now we will find the second use of the bare infinitive through the following examples. Number one, I can solve my problem by myself. Number two, you should see a doctor if you feel sick. Now, what do you notice about the words that come before the highlighted verbs? In the first example, we have the word can, and in the second example, we have the word should. What do we call these two words? Excellent. Both of them are called modal verbs, and modal verbs are followed by bare infinitive. So this is the second use of the bare infinitive when it is used after modal verbs, such as can, could, will, would, should, and other modal verbs. Again, dear students, please go to your student's book, page 99, and complete the following summary about the use of the bare infinitive. Number one, after modal verbs, like the examples. And number two, after the verbs make handle it. Dear students, it's time now to check your understanding of what we have just learned. So please move to exercise B on page 99 in your student's book and read the following exercise. B. Complete the full or the bare infinitive of verbs in brackets. So have a look please at the following sentences and try to write the correct form of the verb. Now pause the video before you check your answers. Now check your answers please. Well done. Now move to your workbook and do exercise C on page 94 as your homework. In the end, please remember to log on to your Microsoft Teams account and do the quiz. That's all for today. Goodbye.